I walked into Best Buy just to check out headphones. I didn't steal a damn thing. But guess what? The security guard grabbed my arm, accused me of shoplifting. And the only reason was the color of my skin. Seattle on a Saturday feels like a living playlist, street musicians blasting covers, the light rail screeching in the distance, couples rushing across Pine Street with shopping bags. I just finished a shift at Starbucks, smelling like espresso. With only one thought on my mind, my sister Kayla's headphones were falling apart. She'd mentioned it half a dozen times that week, and I figured I'd do something nice, check out some options at Best Buy downtown. No big plan, just a quick stop. I walked in, sipping the last of my latte, pushing through the automatic doors into the blast of AC and bright fluorescent lights. The place was buzzing, families comparing TVs, a group of teenagers in the gaming aisle, an older couple asking about printers. I slid into the headphones section, my comfort zone. Rows and rows of glossy boxes. Sony, Bose, Beats, every brand shouting at me with price tags I knew I couldn't afford. Still, I picked one up, turned it over, scanned the specs. Noise cancellation, long battery life, sleek matte black. Kayla would have loved these. But the price? Damn near rent. I sighed, set it back on the shelf, and grabbed a cheaper demo model just to see the sound quality. I didn't even put it on, just looked, then carefully hung it back on the stand. That's it. I checked the time on my phone, still early. My ride app had no pings, so I decided to head home. I walked toward the exit, phone in one hand, empty latte cup in the other. No bags, no boxes, nothing in my pockets but keys and my wallet. And then it happened. Sir, I need you to stop right there. A heavy hand landed on my arm. I turned, startled, and came face to face with a tall man in a navy polo shirt with the yellow Best Buy badge clipped on his chest. Security. The guy was built, broad shoulders, buzz-cut, eyes that looked at me like I'd already been sentenced. Problem? I asked, confused. Empty your pockets, he said flatly. I laughed nervously, thought it was a joke. Excuse me? Don't play dumb, he snapped. We saw you put something in your hoodie. Step back inside. My stomach dropped. Hoodie? I wasn't even wearing one. I had on a plain t-shirt and jeans. My hands were full, phone in a cup. Nothing else. I think you've got the wrong person, I said slowly, keeping my voice calm. I didn't take anything. Camera flagged you. He cut in, gripping my arm tighter. Now, you want to do this the easy way or the hard way? People at the checkout were staring. I could feel their eyes on me, whispering, wondering. A mom pulled her kid closer. A cashier froze mid-scan. The air turned heavy, like I was suddenly under a spotlight I never asked for. Inside, my chest burned. Outside, I forced myself to stay cool. Listen, I came in here to look at headphones. That's all. I didn't touch anything except a demo. You can check the shelves yourself. The security guard's jaw tightened. Step back inside. Now, I glanced toward the door. Freedom was only a few feet away, sunlight pouring through the glass. But his grip was iron. This wasn't a choice, it was an order. Behind him, a woman in a manager's badge approached. Blonde, mid-40s, professional smile plastered on. Is there an issue, Troy? She asked. Yeah, he said without looking at me. Caught him trying to pocket merchandise. The words hit like a punch. I felt the heat crawl up my neck. That's not true, I said sharply. Her eyes flicked over me, down my arms, across my shirt, back to my face, like she was scanning me for guilt written on my skin. Sir, she said carefully, if you could just step into our office, we can clear this up quickly. Office. I knew what that meant. A little back room, no windows, humiliation on repeat. I shook my head. No, if you think I stole something, call the cops. I'm not walking into some room just because he thinks I look suspicious. Her smile faltered. That won't be necessary if you just cooperate. But the whispers around me were growing louder. Customers gawking, phones half raised, waiting for drama. My heart pounded. And that's when it really sank in. It wasn't about merchandise. It was about me. My skin, my face, the hoodie I wasn't wearing, the stereotype already written in their heads. I pulled my arm free, my voice louder now. I didn't steal a damn thing. The manager's smile vanished. Troy scowled, and I realized I'd just stepped into a fight I never asked for. That's when they dragged me toward the little room behind the TVs. And trust me, that's where things got a hell of a lot worse. The security guard's grip was iron as he pulled me through the maze of aisles. My sneakers squeaked on the shiny tiles, and every step felt heavier. Shoppers stared, some whispering, some holding up their phones. That sting of humiliation was worse than his hand on my arm. I wasn't a person anymore, I was a spectacle. He dragged me past the TV section into a narrow hallway where fluorescent lights buzzed like FLIs. At the end of the hall was a plain gray door. He yanked it open and shoved me inside. The room was small, maybe 10 by 12 feet. No windows, just a metal table, two plastic chairs, and a monitor on the wall showing grainy security footage of the store. The air smelled like stale coffee and printer ink. This was their loss prevention office, the place where they decided who was guilty before anyone proved a damn thing. The manager, Linda, followed us in. She closed the door softly, as if pretending this wasn't as bad as it looked. "Let's just get this cleared up quickly," she said, her voice sugary but firm. I crossed my arms. I didn't steal anything. Troy, the security guard, stood over me like a bouncer outside a club. "Then show us your pockets." Easy as that. I took a deep breath. "No, not unless the police are here. You don't get to put your hands on me or make demands because you think you saw something." Linda sighed like I was being difficult. "Sir, it'll be faster if you just cooperate. We had a camera flag." "Then show me the camera," I shot back. Her eyes flicked to Troy. He smirked and tapped on the keyboard, pulling up footage. On the screen, I saw myself in the headphones aisle. From that grainy angle, it looked like I picked up a box and slipped something under my arm. "That's you," Troy said smugly. "Yeah, that's me," I said. "And if you watch 10 more seconds, you'll see me put it back." He scrubbed the footage forward, but suddenly, the clip skipped. A jump cut. 1 second I was holding the box, the next I was walking away empty-handed. "Convenient," I muttered. Linda folded her arms. "It doesn't look good." My chest tightened. "It doesn't look good because your system skipped the part that clears me. Where's the rest of the footage?" Troy leaned closer. "Look, kid, just empty your pockets and we'll let you go. No harm, no foul." My fist clenched under the table. "I'm not a kid, and I'm not playing this game. Call the cops if you really think I stole something. Otherwise, I'm leaving." The tension thickened. The hum of the lights felt louder than breathing. Linda's smile cracked, replaced by irritation. "Sir, if you walk out now, we'll have to mark this as refusal to cooperate," she warned. I laughed bitterly. Refusal to cooperate with what? A lie. For a moment, silence. Then came a knock on the door. A teenager peeked in, phone in hand, recording. "Hey, man, I got the whole thing. You didn't take nothing," Troy snapped. "Get out of here." He lunged toward the door, but the kid vanished into the store, still filming. That crack of light felt like oxygen. Someone had seen. Someone knew I wasn't crazy. But Linda looked rattled now. She whispered to Troy, "This could go viral if he posts it." He cursed under his breath. I leaned forward. "So what's it gonna be? You gonna keep me locked in here because I fit your stereotype? Or are you gonna admit you screwed up?" Linda opened her mouth, but before she could answer, sirens wailed faintly outside. Moments later, there was a sharp knock, and two uniformed officers stepped in, Officer Stevens and Officer Chang. The room shifted instantly. Troy straightened his shoulders, suddenly all professionalism. Linda smiled wide again, pretending everything was under control. "Officers," she said smoothly, "we had a shoplifting incident. Suspect refused to comply." I barked a laugh. "Suspect? I'm not a suspect. I'm a customer. And I've been harassed since I walked in here." Officer Stevens glanced between us. "All right, let's slow down. Everyone calm." His voice was steady, almost kind. Chang, meanwhile, already had her notepad out. "What's your name?" she asked me. "Marks Reed," I said. "All right, Mr. Reed," Stevens said. "Do you consent to a search of your pockets to clear this up?" I met his eyes. "I do not consent. Unless you have probable cause, you don't get to search me. I want this documented the right way," Troy scoffed. "See, he's hiding something." I glared at him. "I'm hiding the fact that I know my rights." The officers exchanged a look. Stevens rubbed his chin. Chang scribbled something. Linda tried to smooth it over. "If you'd just Now imagine what happens next. But before that, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Cause the craziest part is just getting started. Operate. We could avoid wasting everyone's time, but her words were drowned out by another knock. The teenager had returned, this time with the delivery driver in a red DoorDash jacket. I saw him put the box back. The driver said firmly, "He didn't take anything." The room froze. For the first time, Troy's confidence faltered. His jaw twitched. Linda looked like she'd swallowed glass. And me? I finally felt the tiniest sliver of hope. The room felt smaller once the two officers entered. Their uniforms brought an air of authority that pressed down like weight on my chest. Officer Stevens leaned casually against the table, while Officer Chang stood stiff. pen poised over her notepad. All right, Stevens began, his tone calm. We're here to sort this out. Mr. Reed, you say you didn't take anything. Is that right? Exactly, I said. I touched a demo pair of headphones, put it back, and left. That's it, Chang cut in sharply. Loss prevention says otherwise. They claim footage shows you concealing merchandise. I felt heat rise in my face. Then let's look at the full footage. All angles, not just the chopped up clip Troy showed me. Stevens raised a brow at Troy. Can we pull that? Troy hesitated. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. But Linda jumped in. We're having technical issues with some of the recordings. There are gaps, convenient gaps, I muttered. Chang's eyes narrowed. Sir, do you consent to a search of your pockets and belongings? That would settle this. I shook my head firmly. No, I know my rights. If you think you've got probable cause, then state it. Otherwise, I'm not consenting to anything. Especially not when the evidence keeps skipping at the exact moment that clears me. The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut glass. Then, from the open doorway, the DoorDash driver spoke up again. He'd stayed, arms crossed, unwilling to back down. I saw him put the box back on the shelf. I was in line for pickup right behind him. He didn't take a damn thing, and just as if on cue, the teenager appeared again, holding his phone high. And I got it on video. He didn't steal. Linda's face paled. This isn't appropriate. But Stevens held up a hand. No, actually, it is. Witness testimony counts. He gestured toward the teen. Send me that clip. The kid grinned. Already uploading to TikTok. Troy's jaw locked. That's not admissible. Maybe not in court, Stevens said evenly, but it's sure as hell relevant here. I sat a little straighter, relief brushing my shoulders. For once, someone was on my side. Chang, though, wasn't convinced. Witnesses can misinterpret. He could have hidden something before putting the box back. I leaned forward, eyes on her. Then why didn't the security alarm go off when I walked out? You know those EAS tags scream if you leave with unpaid merch. I walked right through. Nothing beeped. That gave her pause. Stevens nodded slowly, turning to Linda. Can you verify the EAS logs? Linda cleared her throat. Yes, but it's possible the tag was removed. That's a hell of a stretch, I said. The tension ratcheted higher. I could feel sweat forming on my palms. The room buzzed with suspicion, defensiveness, and the low hum of the lights. Then Stevens leaned back, studying me. Mr. Reed, you seem confident. Why not just let us check your pockets to be done with this? Because, I answered, voice tight, the second I do that, it'll look like I admitted they were right to drag me here. And I'm not giving them that satisfaction. I know I didn't steal, and I'm not about to let them treat me like a criminal just because I fit some stereotype. For a moment, the room went quiet. Stevens tapped his pen against the table, thinking. Chang's lips pressed into a thin line. Then the teen's phone buzzed. Notifications stacked on his screen. He looked at me wide-eyed. Dude, it's blowing up. People are already commenting. Racial profiling. Linda's face drained of color. Troy muttered a curse. Stevens exhaled. All right. Here's what's happening. We'll request all camera angles from corporate. If they've got clean footage, we'll see it. Until then, Mr. Reed isn't to be held here any longer. My heart skipped. So I can leave? Chung frowned. Pending review. But you'll need to provide your contact information in case charges are pursued. That's fine, I said quickly. As long as I'm not being detained like this anymore. Linda looked like she'd swallowed nails. Troy glared, fists flexing. But for once, I felt like the ground was shifting under their feet. Not mine. Still, something nagged at me. When you get that footage, I asked, make sure you get the entrance camera too. Because I swear I nodded at Troy, was watching me the second I walked in. Before I touched a thing, Stevens wrote that down. Chen glanced at Troy, then at Linda. Their silence spoke volumes. Hooked to next episode, but when the corporate footage finally arrived, the gaps weren't just suspicious, they looked intentional. And that's when the whole thing turned from embarrassing to dangerous. It took 2 days for corporate to respond. 2 days of me replaying the scene in my head, wondering if I should have shouted louder, left earlier, or just never walked into Best Buy that morning. But when the call finally came, I knew this wasn't over, it was about to explode. Officer Stevens met me outside the downtown precinct. He carried a manila folder under his arm and wore the look of someone who'd seen too many stupid things at work. Corporate sent over the camera polls, he said. Thought you'd want to be here when we go through them. Inside, the room smelled of old coffee and paperwork. A flat screen was hooked up to a USB drive with multiple folders, aisle headphones, front entrance, registers, My heart hammered as Stevens clicked the first file. The footage rolled. Same angle as before the headphones aisle. There I was, holding the box. Then skip. Straight to me walking away empty-handed. No middle, no clarity. Stevens frowned. That shouldn't happen on a raw pull. Exactly, I said. Convenient little black hole. He clicked another file, different angle. This one showed me leaning over the display. Then the camera froze, glitched, and resumed 30 seconds later. Again, the crucial moment was missing. Zhang had joined us too, arms crossed, skeptical as ever. Could be a technical error, she said flatly. Or someone edited it, I countered. Stevens nodded slowly. If someone tampered, that's bigger than shoplifting. That's liability. We moved to the entrance cam. My stomach twisted. There I was walking in, coffee in one hand, phone in the other, and in the corner of the frame, Troy, the security guard, standing by the entrance, staring at me, not scanning the crowd, not checking tags, just locked on me the second I walked in. I pointed. There. He had me pegged before I touched a damn thing. Stevens scribbled notes. Chang shifted uncomfortably. Then came the register's cam. Nothing abnormal, just customers, noise, chatter. But at the 10-minute mark, you could see the teenager holding his phone high, filming me being marched out the aisle by Troy. Dozens of heads turning. Proof I wasn't exaggerating. My throat tightened. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. It was all there. Stevens leaned back. This doesn't look good for them. Then why do I feel like it still won't matter? I asked bitterly. He gave a half shrug. Because corporations cover their asses. They'll spin it as malfunctioning systems. But this? He tapped the screen where Troy stared me down at the entrance. This is hard to explain away. I swallowed hard. So what happens now? Before he could answer, the precinct door opened. Linda, the manager, stepped in with a corporate rep in a tailored suit. The rep smiled like a politician. Mr. Reed, we regret the inconvenience. We'd like to offer a gift card and a formal apology letter. My chest burned. A gift card? You dragged me, humiliated me, and all I get is store credits. Linda avoided my eyes. The rep kept his smile. We'd prefer to resolve this amicably, for everyone's benefit. Stevens glanced at me, silently asking if I wanted to keep pushing. My answer was clear. No, I'm not settling with a coupon. I want accountability. I want them to admit their guard profiled me, and I want that footage unedited. The rep's smile faltered. Those are serious accusations. Yeah, I snapped, because this is serious. The tension in the room thickened until you could taste it. Linda shifted, the rep stayed silent, and the officers waited. Finally, Stevens leaned forward. Corporate edits or not, the optics here are bad. The community's already buzzing. TikTok's full of clips. You can bury your head, or you can deal with the straight. The rep's smile returned, thinner this time. We'll review internally. Do that, I said coldly. And no, this isn't going away. As they left, Stevens muttered, he's right. It's not. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't just about me anymore. This was about every person who ever got stared at, stopped, dragged into a room for fitting a description. By the time I got home that night, my phone was buzzing like a hive. Notifications stacked faster than I could clear them. I didn't even know the teenager's name, but his video had already blown up. Millions of views, thousands of comments. The hashtag said it all. Hashtag racial profiling, hashtag best by incident, hashtag justice for Marks. I sat on my couch, scrolling through strangers dissecting my life. Some were outraged he literally had nothing in his hands, and they still dragged him. Others tried to defend the store. Maybe the footage was cut because of a glitch. Stop making everything about race. But the worst comments, the ones calling me a liar, saying I planted the witnesses, saying I wanted a lawsuit payout. I tossed the phone aside, chest tight. Kayla sat next to me, quiet. Finally, she said, Mark, you realize this isn't just about you anymore. People are watching. You have a chance to do something bigger. Her words hit hard. I wasn't an activist. I was just a barista who'd wanted to buy headphones. But now, the spotlight wasn't mine to control. The next day, reporters showed up outside my apartment. Cameras, microphones, questions shouted. Do you believe Best Buy discriminated against you? Are you planning to sue? What message do you want to send? I froze on the steps, feeling exposed. Kayla nudged me. Say something, anything, so I did. Voice shaky but clear, I didn't steal. I was profiled, and it could have been anyone who looks like me. That's the problem. The clip aired on the local news. Overnight, it spread nationally. Suddenly I wasn't just Marks Reed, the guy dragged in a store. I was a headline. Best Buy corporate scrambled. Their statement was a cold PR draft. We take allegations seriously. We are conducting an internal review. No apology, no responsibility, just words. Meanwhile, the video kept spreading. Protesters gathered outside the store downtown. Signs read shopping while black isn't a crime, injustice for Marx. I didn't know half the faces, but they shouted like it was personal. And deep down, it was terrifying. Because the louder the world got, the more I felt the weight on my shoulders. I hadn't asked for any of this, but now, I couldn't walk away. That night, my phone buzzed again. A message request on Instagram from an anonymous account. Just 3 words: drop this. Now, my blood ran cold. The message rattled in my brain all night: drop this. Now, 3 words, but they weighed heavier than anything I'd carried since that day in the store. By morning, I was paranoid. Every car outside felt like it lingered too long. Every ping of my phone made my stomach flip. Kayla begged me to call the cops, so I did. Officer Stevens came by, his expression a mix of concern and weariness. He looked at the message, sighed, and said, "Could be some troll. But given everything, we're taking it seriously. Save all your screenshots." But the tone of his voice told me even he wasn't sure how far this thing went. That night, I had a shift at the coffee shop. I tried to keep it normal, steaming milk, pouring lattes. But halfway through, I noticed a man at the corner table staring at me. No phone, no laptop, just eyes locked on me. When our gazes met, he smirked, stood up, and left. A chill ran down my spine. Later, when I walked to my car, there was a note under my windshield wiper. Same handwriting as the DM, last warning. I almost threw up right there. Kayla insisted we go public with it, so I tweeted the photo of the note. Within minutes, it went viral. People flooded the comments. They're trying to shut him up. And stay safe, bro. By the next day, reporters weren't just talking about racial profiling anymore. Now the story was about intimidation, cover-ups, and a company desperate to silence a customer. Corporate finally cracked. A press conference was announced. I watched on TV, hands trembling, as a senior exec took the podium. He admitted procedural failures, promised retraining, and, for the first time, said the words, "We apologize to Mr. Reed." But it felt hollow, too clean, too rehearsed. Then Stevens called. His voice was sharp. We pulled more metadata from the footage. Those skips, not glitches, they were edits. And guess who had login access? Troy. My jaw dropped. So he set me up. Looks that way, Stevens said. Corporates scrambling to distance themselves. Troy's already been suspended pending investigation. Relief should have hit me, but instead, all I felt was exhaustion. That night, I sat with Kayla on the couch. Even if they fire him, I whispered, what about the next guy? Or the one after that? This won't stop. She squeezed my hand. Then maybe it doesn't stop with you. Maybe this is just the start. I stared at the glow of my phone. Hundreds of messages. Strangers thanking me for speaking up. Others sharing their own stories of being profiled, humiliated, made to feel small for no reason. And I realized something. The fear was still there. But it wasn't just mine anymore. It belonged to all of us. I didn't choose this fight, but now it had chosen me. Sometimes the box they try to put you in is smaller than the truth. And when you refuse to stay inside it, the whole world sees what they'd rather keep hidden.